Hey, my name's Liz and I sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. Normally I do a lot of haul videos, but today we are shipping my Labor Day weekend sales. So I have 29 items to ship out today. That's ranging across Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. I believe it's 3 Mercari sales, 7 eBay, and the rest are Poshmark. As we go along, I'm going to tell you how much they sold for, how much I paid for them, and what my pocket profit is. I use poly mailers a lot of the time. I don't do very fancy shipping, but I like having the fun bags. It makes the shipping process a little more fun, and when they receive it, I think it's a nice touch because I'm not wrapping them fancy or anything like some people do. I think it's really fun if you enjoy it, but it takes more time and it is more waste. And as someone who started to get into reselling as a way to save things from the landfill, I don't want to create more waste. So we will jump right in. The first piece is, I think the 3 Mercari sales are first. This is a sweatshirt from UGG. So I store everything in my inventory in Ziploc bags and then they're in lettered bins. I don't ship the items in the Ziploc bags unless it is a very expensive item. Then I do for some extra protection. Or sometimes if it's white, I will just to keep things a little safer. But I've had, I think, one problem in the probably 6,000 sales that I've had. So I don't find it to be a huge issue. But anyway, this is a sweatshirt from UGG. I found this at the bins, paid about $2 for it based on weight. It sold for $23.02 on Mercari, which is a very strange number. I don't know why that happened, but I don't think it was an offer or anything. It must have just been when Mercari automatically lowers prices for you. So my profit ends up being $17.93 on this, which is great. So really cute piece. I'm putting it in a poly mailer and I don't do free shipping on Mercari. I used to, but then I had someone return something and I realized that you don't get that money back. So when you do have the buyer pay for shipping, that isn't really a concern. So, instead of losing that money, I don't get a ton of returns on there, but just in case, I'd rather not. And it's kind of just a secondary platform anyway. So this is going to North Carolina, and since it's over £1, it's going UPS from Mercari. So just need to keep that separate so it doesn't accidentally end up with my everything else that should be going to USPS. And also on Mercari, I grabbed these right before I started filming. They sold after I'd already grabbed everything else. These are from the brand LaFleur, which is a great business wear brand. I don't find it all that often, but when I do, I pretty much will always pick it up. These are just a pair of trousers. I believe they were called the Smith trouser. They sold for $36. I found these at the bin, so again, paid around $2 for these, which makes my profit $29.61. These are also going UPS, and these are headed to New Mexico. Then the last sale is this bodysuit from the brand Babaton, which is sold at Aritzia. This actually sold twice. It sold overnight on Mercari and Poshmark, which that is always something when people start cross-listing they worry about, but this is maybe the 3rd time ever that it's happened to me, and it's actually funny because it's something that's been listed for like 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not like it was a brand new listing or anything, but I kept the one on Mercari. It sold first, and nicely. It's the one that you get a little more money for. I think I made like $3 extra because of it selling on Mercari versus like the fees on Poshmark. So that is heading to California. So then we have our Poshmark sales. First is this sweater from Talbot's. It's definitely older Talbot's. It says hand knit, and this has been listed for a really long time, at least 2 years. It's gotten quite a bit of interest on Depop, but has never sold, obviously. But since this one's a little bigger, I'm gonna put it in one of the Tyvek mailers from USPS. This one sold for $40. I found it at the bins and paid probably about $3 for it. My bins are $1.99 a pound, so you know, if something's about a pound, I say I paid $2 for it. I would say this is about a pound and a half, so my estimate is $3. So my profit ends up being $29 on this sweater, which is a great profit. I wish it had sold a little quicker, but that's okay. I definitely thought it was gonna end up going on Depop. And this is heading to Pennsylvania. These also have been listed for a really long time. I'm gonna guess somewhere around 3 years. I actually relisted them probably about a month ago. These are some Levi's 501 shorts. They were definitely popular when I picked them up years ago, but I really don't pick up Levi's anymore. Sometimes at the bins, I'll grab them and bring them to Plato's, but it is not a brand that I have luck selling on Poshmark. I know they were super popular at one point, but even then I wasn't getting them to sell for me. So these sold for $9. I picked them up when I used to go to Dollar Day at the Goodwill regular store for $1. So my profit was $5.05 on these. Definitely not worth having them for 3 years for a $5 profit, but I'm glad they did eventually sell, and they are going to Florida. This was a nice quick sale though. This is a sports bra from Beyond Yoga that I picked up just like 2 weeks ago. This is their symbol if you've never seen it. This is actually a brand that doesn't typically do great for me. I know it's fairly popular, but it usually sits in my closet or I'm just not finding the right pieces of it. But this kind of is similar to the Lululemon like Power Y bra. So I don't know if I've ever had sports bras from them before, but I was glad with how quickly this one sold. And it sold for $25. Got it at the bins and it's super light, so estimated about 50 cents for it. So my profit ends up being $19.50, which is great for a little tiny sports bra that I wouldn't have mind having to keep for a while because it takes up so much little space, but even better that I don't have to. And that is heading to Alabama. Actually, a second sports bra. I found these and one other one that already sold all at once at the bins. And this is from Alo Yoga. And this is like still currently on their site. It's called the Wild Things bra. This was very popular on my pages. I think it had like 12 likes or something in just about a week on Poshmark, so I was thrilled that was a good pickup. That sold for $28, and again paid about 50 cents at the bins, so my profit is $22 for that, and I would do that over and over again. And that is heading to Indianapolis. These are the poly mailers I'm using today. I just pick ones from Amazon. I get different ones most times. I kind of look for ones that are on sale, or I try to keep it to around somewhere between $10 and $11 for the packet. I know you can get cheaper ones if you just buy the plain ones, but I like the fun ones. So I think that ends up being a reasonable enough price point for me. You can buy some that are so expensive and that just seems silly. Every once in a while you do get some that aren't the best quality. These ones are fine. Sometimes you end up with like the ones that are nice thick ones, but yeah, I am not super picky with them. I just like the fun ones. And this sale was around forever. So it's kind of funny that I had a few pieces over the weekend that sold that I've had for a crazy long time. I didn't do anything special. I did accept offers, but this is from Anthropologie. The brand is Scott Soak, exclusively for Anthropologie. And it's like a sweatshirt material and it's embroidered that you can't really see on screen, but it says, "All I ever wanted was love." And I have had this for, if I had to guess, around 3 to 4 years, because I wouldn't pay what I paid for this now. This sold for $13. I paid $5 for this at a regular Goodwill. I would not pay that for that. I would probably, if I picked this up at the bins, send this to ThredUp at this point. So this only made $2.73. I'm glad that it is leaving my house and that someone wanted it, but I would not do that sale again, or I wouldn't pick that up to sell again. This is heading to Florida. This was a super quick sale. So this is a scarf and the brand is Spartina 449. And I was visiting some family in South Carolina and went to the bins in Columbia, and I found this, and this sold within like 2 to 3 minutes of me listing it, which I was really shocked by. I've heard of this brand before. I really don't think I've ever found it. It's not something popular here in New Jersey, but it is popular in the South. And this is a print of like the islands and beach towns in Georgia and South Carolina. So this sold for $20. Like I said, full price, basically instantly. Paid about 50 cents for this, so I made $15.50 on this little scarf, and it's actually heading to Illinois. So I thought that it was probably going to be going back to Georgia or South Carolina, but no, so she must vacation there or something. So I was super happy with this sale. I wouldn't expect this brand to sell that quickly if I ever found it again, but it was a really pleasant surprise. This one was pretty popular as well on all my platforms. This is a hat from Viore, which I don't find very often. It is a very popular brand of activewear. I'm gonna lint roll this quick, so I'll put it in the package, but before I seal it up, I'm gonna give it a quick lint roll. This sold for $20. I found it at the bins. I put that I paid $1 for it, but it was probably even less. So my profit was $15 on this. And this is heading to Arizona. I think it's very popular on the West Coast. From what I've seen, I really don't find it much. That's maybe the second or third time I've ever found it. And another bin sale. This is a pair of shapewear from the brand Leonisa, which I pick up lots of shapewear at the bins. It sells well for me. These are a size large. I would say I don't really pick up, like the extra small, unless it's Spanx, but these I'm going to lint roll as well before I seal that bag up. But these sold for $25. I paid less than $1 for these at the bins. So my profit is $19 on these, and they were a pretty quick sale. I'm gonna say under a month, and they are heading to California. So many bin sales today. So this is a t-shirt from the brand Desigal, I think is how you say it. Not one I find very often either, but really fun t-shirt. They're known for very funky designs. And this one I got at the bins for about $1. It sold for just $12, which I was fine with. It was very lightweight. It hasn't been around for a long time. I think I accepted that offer, and it had a tiny stain on it, so I did have it listed for a little lower. And this, my profit ended up being $8.05. That's heading to Texas. Another bin sale. This is a pair of men's jeans from the brand Mott & Bow. I think this is the first time I have sold it. I've come across it a time or two in the regular thrift stores, and I remember looking it up, but it not really being worth the price of what I find jeans for at my regular stores. And this was the first time I found it at the bin, so I figured I would give it a shot. They sold in about 2 days for $25. I paid about $2.50 for them, so a $17.50 profit, which I am really happy with, and I'm glad that I tried them out. If I find them, you know, for a even under $5 price point again, I would probably pick them up. And these are also like a slim jean, which I would think is not necessarily the most popular, so even better that it was such a quick sale. They're heading to Santa Monica, California. This is another one from my bins in South Carolina trip. This is a kids jersey from the Mariners, which is the Seattle baseball team, so kind of funny that I found it in North Carolina. I don't pick up a ton of jerseys. I don't pick up a ton of men's stuff in general, but this is kids. But anyway, I don't buy them unless I'm positive that it's someone either still actively on the team or someone that is like a legend of the team. So someone that you would want to wear their jersey even after they are no longer with the team. So that's the case here. This is a Ken Griffey Jr. jersey, Hall of Famer, big sports figure. So that's why I grabbed this. It does have a couple little holes on it, which I knew when I bought it, but I figured I would buy it anyway. And it sold in just a couple days. It only sold for $10, but it ended up giving me about a $6 profit. And, you know, I think I had it listed for $18 or something like that and took the $10 offer. And yeah, I was glad it was a really quick sale. I wasn't expecting it to be so quick, and it's heading to Seattle, which makes sense. Next, we have one that I did buy from actually somewhere besides the bins. This is a new tag dress from Bowden, and it's called the Jersey Column dress, I believe, in this burgundy color. Perfect fall sale. I have had this for a few months, but not surprised that it's just selling now as people are starting to pick up their fall shopping. So this sold for $28, which was definitely an offer that I think I accepted from someone. I paid $7.50 for this at my thrift store, and my profit ends up being $14.90 on this one. When I'm paying $7.50 for something, I'm definitely hoping it sells for a little more than $28. I would be hoping for more like a $40 sale with that price, but that's okay. This is heading to the small town in North Carolina that my grandparents used to live in, actually. That's kind of funny. I've shipped, I don't know, on Poshmark, I have over 5,000 sales. Between the other platforms, it's at least another 1,000. So I've shipped to so many places, and it's always funny when you come across one that's kind of a small town that you're like, oh, I actually know this one, or, you know, I've been there or whatever. I always like to see where things are shipping to. And also I kind of think about, oh, who bought this? Sometimes like one of these was going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was like, oh, is that going, in my head thinking, is that going to someone at the university, or is that someone who just happens to live in the town, you know? Or, oh, when you see this, you're like, oh, I'm not surprised at all that this is heading to Miami, that kind of stuff. Does anyone else do that when they ship, or just me? But okay, next up we have another bins find, and this is Quince, which is a brand that I do pick up when I find it most of the time. This is a brown midi dress, and again, a great fall piece. This sold for $26. It does have a little bit of wash wear on it that I noted, so I was happy with that price. Paid about $2 for it, so I made $16.48 on this one. I think that was an offer that I sent out with Posher VA. I have Posher VA sending 25% off offers 10 minutes after someone likes something. It has worked out so well for me. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for that tool, for both sharing my Poshmark closet and for me not having to send out offers all the time. So this is heading to Connecticut. And this I found at my local thrift store. This is Skims, and this is a full body cat suit basically. I'm going to give this one a quick lint roll as well before I seal that package up. I just don't want to make you all watch that. This sold for $30. I paid $7.50 for this, and I made $16.50 on it, and that is heading to Hollywood. This is the worst sale of the day. I ended up just completely breaking even on this, or I made 5 cents or something on this. But this is a Lily Pulitzer Kids Popover sweatshirt. These do great in adults. They're one of the better, non-dress pieces that I find from Lily. I am a big Lily fan, so I do pick it up most of the time when I see it for a good price point. I paid $7 for this, which I didn't think was bad, but it has been sitting for a very long time in my closet, and I don't know what I had it listed for, but I must have sent a higher offer on this one, and it sold for just $10, so I only made 5 cents on this, but at least I didn't lose money. I'm not really sure how it ended up I probably wouldn't have accepted a $10 offer on it, but I'm not 100% sure what happened there. But anyway, this is heading to Pennsylvania, and I'm glad someone got a great deal on this for their little girl. Next up, we have a pair of men's pants from the brand Alex Mill. I actually found these at Plato's, and they sold within, I'm going to say, just about a day as well. They are like a cargo pant. The tag looked interesting to me when I saw it at Plato's. They were actually on like a display rack that they had. They had them with the girls stuff, so I don't know if they thought they were girls or what, but they had like a display rack of cargo pants, so I flipped through that and I actually found 2 pairs of Reformation pants and these, so I'm really glad I looked there. But these sold for $30. I paid $10 for them at Plato's. I think I had them listed for $45 and I accepted an offer. These I'm putting in one of the medium flat rate boxes that have the self seal on them. These are my favorite boxes to use from USPS because you don't have to use your own tape, and they fit lots of things that are just a little too big for me to fit into my poly mailers. So made 14 on these, and they're heading to Austin. And this has been around for a pretty long time too, which is great that it's sold. I was kind of surprised with how long this took, So it's a new with tags set from Princess Polly, which is just fast fashion, but I do pick it up at the bins to bring to Plato's sometimes. But this one I did list because I found the full set. It's long sleeve, crop top, and shorts. And it was new with tags. So otherwise it would have ended up at Plato's most likely. But this sold for $14. I paid about $1.50 for it. So I made about $9.50 on this. And like I said, this was probably listed for at least a year. I was kind of surprised because sets are so popular and it's really cute. This is heading to St. Louis. Then this is a little scarf from Lily Pulitzer, and it's from years ago when they did a sorority collab. So this is for Alpha Phi. This I've had for probably, I've only had it listed for maybe 6 months. I've had it for a while, but it ended up in my death pile for some reason. But this sold for $26.25. Paid about $1 for it. I paid $1 for it at a Salvation Army in Pennsylvania. So my profit is $19. This is heading to Virginia. Then this is a pretty recent bins find. This is a pair of grippy slippers from Bombas. I pick up Bombas stuff pretty much anytime I see it. I've sold a couple pairs of slippers like this. They are super lightweight. Found them at the bins. They sold for $12. Oh, that's why. We switched to eBay sales. The scarf was our first eBay sale. Okay, so these sold for $12 on eBay. I found them at the bins for about $1, and my profit is $9 on these, so that's cool. And these are heading to South Carolina. I'm not gonna take this one out because I put it in this bag to make sure it fit and to measure the weight of it. This is a men's wool coat from J. Crew. It is a little heavier, so I paid about $8 for this at the bins, and it was a nightmare to lint roll. And it sold for $73, so my profit is $51 on this, which was great. I did have it listed for $140 and accepted this offer. I think I got 3 offers before this that were more in the $50 range that I countered, and no one ever accepted, but I was fine with $73 on this. And I am also usually willing to take bigger offers on coats because they take up so much space in my storage that, like this compared to say the sports bra, I'm happier to move these out as quick as possible. This one is heading to Massachusetts. Then this is a tank top. It's all like crochet knit from the brand Frankie's Bikinis. I picked this up at the Anthropologie outlet that I went to a couple months ago. This sold for $40 on eBay, and I paid more than I wanted to for this. So their pricing is kind of complicated at the Anthropologie outlet. So I thought this was more like $10, but they charged me $16 for it. But I didn't want to go through the whole thing of putting it back at the counter or anything, so I just paid for it. And I made $16 profit on it, so it all worked out fine. Just I wouldn't normally pay that much for a tank top. This is heading to New York City, so she will probably get that tomorrow. Another Poshmark sale that has been around for a very long time is this cardigan, and this is from the brand CP Shades, which I very rarely find. It is a brand that is popular for linens and like lag-and look style, which is not super popular in my area, so I'm not shocked that I don't find it very often. But this was a nice cardigan. I did get this from the bin, so I paid probably $3 for it. Mason's joining us for the end of this. So my profit was about $26 on this, and this sold on Poshmark too, actually. I'm using that medium flat rate again, and this is heading to Maine, which seems like a perfect place for this cardigan. Then I have this belt that sold from Bowden. It's like raffia material, super cute. I'm going to put this in a padded flat rate I'm going to put this in a padded envelope. This sold on eBay, so I paid for a ground. So I can't put it in a padded flat rate envelope like if it had sold on Posh, but I have other padded envelopes like leftover from Amazon orders and stuff. This sold for $15. I paid $3 for this at my thrift store, so my profit is about $10 on this fun little belt. And I'll get a bag for this after I finish, but this is heading to Minnesota. This one's kind of funny. This is a Disney Parks dress, and I pick up Disney stuff, but I mostly try to get the stuff that's actually from the Disney parks, not like the ones you find at Target or anything. So this is an adult dress, and it has little tiny Olafs from Frozen mixed into it. So it's really fun, and like totally the right person will look adorable wearing this in the parks. It just kind of, to me, like this is an adult version of a little kid's dress. Which is so fun that someone gets to, dress up in a fun outfit and walk around Disney World. And this is heading to Ohio. Then the last eBay sale is this sweater. And this is new at tags from Talbot's. It's a petite extra large for $99 was their price. One day at my regular Goodwill, I found it was probably a dozen new with tags sweaters from Talbot's in like extra large 1X sizes. I kept a couple for myself and listed the rest. This has probably been listed about a year. I'm gonna say I found them like last fall. I'll have to see if this fits in this or if I have to get a different one. This only sold for $18, which was an offer I took. I think I had this listed for more like $35. But when things have been listed for a long time, I'm happy to take like around a 50% offer. I list my things knowing that most of my stuff sells from offers, so like I've heard other people say I'm in the business of selling, not the business of storage. So when I can get things moved out, I do. All right, this is not gonna close in here, so I have to get a different pouch for this. But anyway, about $9 profit on this, which isn't great, but happy that it moved out, and someone's getting a beautiful brand new sweater for a great price. Okay, and then this is the last sale that we have here, and this is a Bottega Veneta vintage bag. It's kind of like a plum purple color. I found this at an estate sale a couple months ago. It was a really hard color to photograph, but it is a beautiful bag in really great condition. Besides that, the inside tag, which is inside a zip pocket, is ripped in half, like it probably got caught in the zipper, and also this zipper works perfectly fine, but it's missing part of its pull. But otherwise it's in really nice condition, especially for a vintage bag. So this I had listed for $200. It had 41 likes on Poshmark and 26 watchers on eBay. And I had gotten quite a few lowball offers in like the $180 to $100 range that I countered. I was looking to get about $150 for this. So when I got a $150 offer yesterday, I happily accepted. I paid $40 for this at an estate sale. They had a ton of designer stuff that was really priced up. So this being only $40 was surprising, but I knew I would make plenty on that even though I paid up for it. So my profit is $80 on this bag, and someone is getting a really beautiful, nice fall bag. So I was really excited that this sold. It was obviously my best sale of the weekend. We're gonna put it in another one of the medium flat rate boxes. And this sold on Poshmark, if I didn't say that. But Poshmark, you can use all of the free priority shipping supplies from USPS, but stuffing it with tissue paper to keep it nice and safe. While I was editing, I realized that the clip of me doing a little summary had no sound. So this is a few days later, but so in total on Poshmark, I had $577 in sales. On eBay, it was $206.75, and then on Mercari was $75.02, which makes the total $858.77. I don't have how much my profit is from all of that because I don't have the paper with all the numbers that I wrote down while I was filming last time anymore. But overall, that is such a good weekend for me. It's like middle of September now when I'm filming this little clip, and September has continued to be a pretty solid month. So hopefully from now through the end of the year, we have some really great sales for me and everyone else. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.